The Players is behind us. The Valspar is coming up this week. Welcome, everyone, to Tea Time. I am Andy from WagerTalk.com, being joined, as always, by my fellow golf betting expert, Nick Borrman from WagerTalk.com. We're going to break down the Valspar for you. We're going to go over some total strokes gained, look at some outright winners, some long shots, some big names that we think can trip you up, and also some Draftkings Darlings. But first, Nick, one and done. And I certainly was done last week with my pick not even making the cut. So shout out to you, Ludwig Ober. I have no idea what happened there. But let's do the one and done this week. I'll go. It was terrible. It was terrible. I'm going to go with Will Zalatoris as my one and done.
Okay.
I figure I'm probably going to use him this year, and this field is okay. It's not great. I like what I'm seeing from him. His putting has gotten a lot better, and he looks healthy. The guy hasn't missed the cut this year, so I think it's a good time to use Will Zalatoris. I expect good things on it. It's a tough course, which in the past that's what he's thrived at. He doesn't seem to do well at the ones where you got to go 25 under. You know, the ones where the winning score is -8, -9, -10 seems to be where he's the best. So going with Will Zalatoris. Who are you going with?
Well, Willie Z was had 66 good holes last week, and then had that 6-hole stretch where he went from like 8 under to 8 under to 2 over or something really quickly.
Yeah, him and Minwoo Lee.
Yeah, exactly. He's trending nicely for you. I'm going to go with Sam Burns, and the reasoning here obviously is his course history. He's not necessarily in the best form right now, but in a one and done kind of a competition, it's like sometimes you're looking for these type of tournaments, just that little spark of the course history can really get that guy kind of in line. I think he can do well. I think his history is going to bring him up. I think he's just going to be, will he win? Probably not, but will he get in there in the top 20 because he's comfortable here more so than anybody? I mean, you look at his results, it's pretty ridiculous and very consistent. So I think that can help not rebound him, but let's say kind of send him into the right direction for the rest of the season. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. I think it's there. I'm not going to use him any other time. I'm not a huge fan of Burns. I would never take him in a deep competition. So if I'm going to take him once this year, this is the one. This is the one he's got the best history at, and I think this course does correlate to some decent history over the years. So Sam Burns, one and done. Probably not a guy I bet another way, but in this format, I think I like it.
Well, let's talk about the course, Copperhead Course at Innisbrook Resort. It's a tough course. This is going to look a little bit different than most Florida courses. There's dog legs, there's tree-lined fairways. The rough is thick. I think I read, Nick, they're going for 4 inches, and they're also bringing the rough closer to the fairways. So the intermediate is not going to be as long and as forgiving. Weather, we do have to talk about weather. It's going to be really windy on Thursday, and there's no rain in the forecast. So I'm guessing this thing's probably going to get tough as the weekend goes on. Like, you get those 20, 25 mile an hour winds on Thursday that just dries the course out completely. It's going to make it play hard on Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the guys playing on the course, the greens drying out. I think this gets pretty firm and pretty fast. It's a par 71, 7,340 yards. What is it? There's 5 par 3s on this one and 4 par 5s. So that makes it kind of an odd par 71. So 3 of the last 7 winners here have lost strokes off the tee, which is kind of an odd stat there for that one. But I think this just comes down to your irons and then making some putts and figuring out the fast greens. I think these greens are going to be really, really tricky. This does have the snake pit, holes 16, 17, 18, pretty tough stretch of holes there. I enjoy this course a lot. I think it's fair, but it's also pretty tough, and not in a way where, guys can completely overpower it. There's several holes where it's just, driver's just not really the smartest play. So I like Copperhead Course. I think it's going to be a good challenge for these guys. What's your take on the course?
Yeah, Copperhead's sweet, and you're right. It is difficult. The winning scores do not eclipse double digits too often. 12 under was last year. I think it's only 4 times in the last 11 years has the winner gone lower than 10 under. So it doesn't happen that often. And really the Florida swing in general is kind of tough. But the last 2 years, this course has been the toughest of the Florida swing. Last year, it would average nearly a stroke over par, 71.93, par 71. And that was 2 years ago. And last year was 71 and almost and a half. So 2 years in a row, hardest course of the Florida swing. And you're right about the rough. It's going to be very similar to what they've just played at TPC and at Bay Hill the week prior, close to 4 inches. You hit the nail on the head as far as this course is all about placement off the tee. It's not pound your driver. It's got 4 par 5s, but it's got 5 par 3s. So it's a unique par 71 setup. So only 9 par 4s. But what makes it tricky is not only is the tree line, as you mentioned, but the landing areas then where you should be laying up because you're not going to hit driver are choked. They're tight. They come in really close with whether it's just a dog leg, whether it's bunkers. So even the landing areas when you're laying up aren't easy to hit. And then, of course, missing the fairways is very, very difficult. So the final thing, the weather, you mentioned the wind. So the way it looks right now, again, it's too early to say for sure, but I would give the Thursday AM, Friday PM, afternoon probably a half stroke advantage as we're looking at it, because that wind is supposed to pick up as the day goes on Thursday. So the very, very early morning won't have it quite as much. And I do think it's worth noting because last week there was a significant advantage in the wave. It was just opposite of what the trends told us. If you looked at that leaderboard after Friday's round, everybody posted that leaderboard on Friday going into round 3 was all the guys that played Friday morning. So it was the Thursday late Friday wave that was significant. I don't know if it ended up mattering at the very, very end of the tournament, but it certainly had an advantage over those first 2 days. And I think this could play out where Thursday morning, Friday afternoon might be the better wave, but I guess time will tell. Nothing I'm putting all my cards into for gosh sakes, but something I am paying attention to. But yeah, it should be a fun tournament. And that snake pit stretch you mentioned, par 4, 3, 4. 2 years ago, it averaged 0.59 strokes over par. Last year, a little easier, 0.41, but one of the toughest stretches on the PGA Tour. So certainly going to be a lot of fun to watch that come the end of Sunday.
Yeah, the Thursday, I love doing the individual round scores. I'll be watching it Thursday morning, and if I see the wind start to pick up, it might be a perfect time to fire away on some overs on the individual round scores on the afternoon, guys. So we always go over my favorite hole. I chose the 14th hole as my favorite, a par 5, 590 yards, called the double dog leg. This is such a great par 5. You cannot overpower this hole. The drive has to hit the fairway. It's got a dog leg, sharp turn to the left. But if you try and cut the corner and you miss, it's just like a guaranteed punch out. Now you bring a pretty big number into play. So you got to punch your drive out there. And then your second shot is probably a layup, because if you're trying to go for it in 2, it means you got to go over trees. You got to somehow avoid the bunkers on the left and the right. And the green is kind of a steep right to left kind of way. So there's just no easy ways to birdie this par 5. It's one of those kind of cerebral ones. And I think if guys get up there and think, well, I'm going to hammer this hole home, I think they're going to bring some bigger numbers in there. I really do like this one. It's kind of one of those where it's not even 600 yards, 590, but the way it's designed is you can't overpower it. I would be really surprised if a lot of guys got there in 2. So that's my favorite hole. And then we always rate the 18th hole. The 18th hole is called the Copperhead. I love that this hole embraces the elevation change as the biggest difficulty. Like it's pretty straight. There's really not a whole lot of, not a whole lot to the shape of it, but the drive is uphill. You got bunkers on the left and a slight dog leg near the green. With certain pin positions, if you're left, you're in bad shape because you got a terrible angle coming at the pin. Bombers, the longer guys, will bring the bunkers on the right into play if they choose to really try and smash it up there. But the green protected with bunkers long and short, uphill approach. And this is one of those where it's a great conversation between caddy and golfer. Like, what's the yardage? What's the wind? We're shooting this uphill. The pin position is going to be a 1 to 2 club change depending on where they're hitting it from. So it's one of those, doesn't look that hard on paper. It's straight and basic looking, but hole's really challenging. I think it's a great way to end the tournament. I'm going to give it a 6.4 on the final rating. All right, Nick, every week we go through the total strokes gained. Let's take a look at the chart this week. Let's see who's playing well last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Tell us what we can take away from the chart.
Andy, this week, the strokes gained, we talked about this before the show, and it's a pretty good field considering coming off 2 back-to-back signature weeks. So you got Xander Schauffele leading the charge. Now I don't know that we've talked about him obviously the last couple of weeks, and I don't know that I've seen this on the strokes gain chart ever, where the top guy in 12 months is by far the worst in the 6 and 3 month range. Not the worst in the field, but the worst of anybody clearly on this list or the big names. Clearly a stay away guy right now until he gets it together. And he said that he's just trying to get his rep. So he's the top guy on this list, but certainly not somebody you want to bet in this field. Tommy Fleetwood, another name that's notable here, continues to just churn out solid leaderboard results, but still yet a winner on the PGA Tour. So the top two guys, as far as the odds board and the strokes gain chart goes, are really avoid guys this week for obvious reasons. You haven't won and you're injured. So strange. You move on down. Justin Thomas, very, very consistent. That one bad round where he shot, what was it, 78, 62? So 78, maybe it's a different players for him last week. Corey Connor steady. Shane Lowry steady. Sepp Straka, oh my gosh, rinse and repeat with that guy. So this is a solid list. I think, where I'm circling in on the bottom and the notables, you got guys that are really charging. Michael Kim. Yeah, he missed the cut last week. That might help him, right? He was on fire right before that. I think he could bounce back. Alex Smalley. Okay, maybe he had one good week. He leads the tour in all around this season and strokes gained, I think it's strokes gained approach. So quietly he's performing and those results will continue to go so long as those metrics stay. So this list, maybe the winner doesn't come from here. We're now 5 for 5, as you can see up at the top, the green graphic. That the players was another with Rory. 5 for 5 in the winners coming from the top 10 strokes gained. The other events, 0 for 7. So maybe you avoid this list as far as your outright winner. But I do think this is a good place to start and a good trend to look at for these guys because Lowry, Straka on the up, Schauffele on the down. But I like Michael Kim as a sneaky play out of this list as a bounce back from last week. He's been too hot to just all of a sudden fall off. I think he'll bounce back nice.
Love it. Love it. There's your total strokes gained. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead, take a second and do that now, please. It really helps us out. Also, subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Tons of breakdown videos. March Madness is here, so we have plenty of videos to get you ready for that, help you out with your brackets, help you out with all your bets. Once you hit subscribe, you get notified when we get all the breakdown videos. Myself and Nick are here every week breaking down the golf tournaments. And leave us a comment. We read all the comments. Love responding to you guys. Tell us who you like this week. Love seeing who you guys are betting on. It's a great community. Love the chat section and the comment section in the golf videos. It's been a really, really good year so far. So appreciate that. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment. If you're interested in either of mine or Nick's golf bets, we are still running that 5-week special to get golf plays for only $49. An absolutely smoking deal. Myself, I'm on a 14-4 golf run. You can grab that at either of our profile pages, wt.buzz/NB or wt.buzz/AL. It's going to get you all the picks for this week, next week, including the Masters when that comes up and the week after that. So we run this special once a year. So you get 5 weeks of golf plays for only $49. No promo code needed. You can grab that at either of our profile pages. All right, Nick, let's talk about some players that can trip you up. This was kind of a difficult week. I am going to start with Xander Schauffele. I can't even play this guy like top 40 as a parlay piece or even to make the cut as a parlay piece. He is really bad, man. He's not even close to being back to where he was last season. And I got to tell you, Nick, I'm really starting to be concerned long-term with him. It's the consistency that we're seeing with him. He's just not 100% in shape. He's not at his peak physical wellness. So there's no consistency to the swing. Minus 0.37 total strokes gained in his 2 tournaments since returning. And he's priced as like a top 5 golfer this week. I mean, it's crazy. And sadly, some people are going to bet it. Oh, it's Schauffele. I'm sure he's going to get better. But no, finished 40th and 72nd the last 2 weeks. And be honest, Nick, he was lucky just to make the cut in those tournaments. He was right on the cut line there. He's a fade until he shows he can be competitive here. So this is one of those sneaky things where the books are like, we'll price him as a top 5 guy, but we're not going to give you a head-to-head matchup against another top 5 guy because we know what's going to happen with that. So the books, I'm on to you, books. I know what you're trying to do here. So I debated on this one, but Nick, I am going to go with Sam Burns. I know he's going to be a popular pick this week, and this could absolutely bite me because he loves this place. He's won here twice. He's kind of been bad recently. Recent finishes, miscut 48th, 24th. 74th and 65th. He missed the cut here last year. And you look at his stats, it's glaring. It's his approaches that's been the problem. Minus 0.42 total strokes gained approach this season. Priced as a top 7 golfer, I think that's kind of crazy. He doesn't have a top 20 finish in his last 6 tournaments. So is he going to miss the cut? Probably not. But is he going to reward you with a top 7 finish? I don't know. I just don't see it this week with Sam Burns. And then I'm going to go to the steady Tommy Fleetwood. Listen, Tommy Fleetwood is probably going to play really well this week. Probably going to finish top 20. But he's the second betting favorite here, Nick. And what does Tommy Fleetwood just not do? He doesn't win. He has one top 3 finish in the last year on the PGA Tour. I cannot play him at this price. I mean, just, he's, what is he, number 1 in total strokes gained in this field this year? And I just don't even see him getting in the top 5. It's just not what he does when it comes time to play golf. He just doesn't win here. So Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, and Tommy Fleetwood are 3 guys that I think are priced way too high. And I think they're going to trip some people up. So, Nick, go ahead and tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk. I know it's MLS season, and then let's get into our first outright winner.
Sure. As a reminder for Andy's players that contribute up segment, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play horribly, but as Andy said, it's all about relative to their value, and that's why his segment's pretty difficult. But yeah, those guys, it's just about returning value. It doesn't mean that they're going to miss. So always fun to hear you do that, Andy. Right now, I have MLS. We are going into the 4th week in the season. You can get the rest of the season for $3.99. It includes playoffs, which is in December. Well, the playoffs are November, final in December. So you got a long season ahead, going for 7 straight winning seasons, off to a profitable start this year already. So that is still available right now at my page at WagerTalk. And also, we are on international break for soccer this week. So I do have a best bet going on between the Spain and Netherlands Nations League play, which is on Thursday. So there's 6 days of international matches going on Thursday through Tuesday this upcoming weekend and into next week. So a lot of fun games going on there, and you both available. We already mentioned the golf promo going on as well, and that's available on my page as well.
Love it. Let's go to your favorite. I love this rinse and repeat. I love it. Like this is a great betting strategy. Let's talk Sepp Straka. We're going right back to him.
It's funny because this is rinse and repeat. The difference is he's now transitioned from the long shot segment to the favorite segment. But we're going for three weeks in a row. We continue to cash on Sepp Straka. He's been killing it during the Florida Swing. Tied for 14th again last week. Prior to that, tied for 5th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Tied for 11th at the Cognizant Classic. So loving the Florida Swing. He's going to go. I know he's going to go a perfect 4 for 4 for us and get top 20 finishes this week. Perhaps getting a little higher. But that's now 8 top 15 finishes in his last 10 starts, Andy. That includes the American Express win back in January. So the guy is clearly hot. His iron game, and where it's going to matter this week is your approach. His iron game is up there with the top players in the world. And that's why he's having the results he's having. He doesn't hit it long. I don't think that matters a lick this week. But his driver accuracy does gain him strokes off the tee. And again, high rough, choke points in the fairway, must be playing out of the fairway to be able to attack any of these greens, all things that a guy like Straka's skill set should do well this week. The only negative for him, history, but he's had a couple of those negatives recently too in some of the other Florida Swing tournaments, but his form trumps his history. It's only his 3rd start here. He missed cut last year, and the only other time he played was back in 2019, which was a tie for 46. So it's not a tournament he had played regularly. So, but listen, the guy's a much different golfer than he even was a year ago. So I like Sepp Straka to continue his run. I think his numbers are still decent. They've obviously dropped, but relative to this field, I like where his price is. So I think we're going to see another good week out of Sepp.
Love it. He's just been a gem in fantasy and DFS, and he's just been one of those guys you just keep riding and riding and riding.
If he cashes again, there's probably not a lot of chances we're going to continue to bet him. He's going to go from favorite to just, all right, now you can't even bet him anymore.
Yeah. It is amazing. That's quite the graduation to go from the long shot to the favorite in just a couple months. So that speaks to how good good he's gotten. So shout out
Yep.
to Sepp Straka. Let's talk about some DraftKings Darlings. But real quick, if you're interested in all sports package, we're running a 7-day pass this week. These are all the plays that I bet with my own money, my team bets with their own money, and this is how we build up our bankrolls. We're up 78 units in 2025. We're on a 47-16 all sports run. And 7-1 and 5% plays all sports. So you can get 7 days. It's normally $99. It's knocked down to $69. And this is not a hobby for us. This is a business. This is the bankrolls that we have are investment portfolios. They're passive income. These are all the plays that we bet with our own money. So we decided to run 7 days coming off of a 28-unit week. How would you like to be up 28 units in 1 week? That's what we did last week. So I invite everyone to join us. We can help. Thank you. We can help build your bankroll. This is what we've been doing for a long time. Number one the last 2 years, number one the last 365 days. It includes all sports and all percentages. So no better time to grab a 7-day pass here, marked down from $99 all the way down to $69. All sports, wt.buzz/AL. All right, let's take a look at some DraftKings Darlings. Darn it, we did not cash last week. That broke, I think, a 4-week winning stretch there. Keith Mitchell and Aubert missed the cut, so that really sunk us. So let's go with this week. I'm going to start with Joel Damon, 7,000. He's made the cut 3 straight weeks. He's played here 4 times, never missed the cut. In the last 30 days, he's actually plus 1.26 total strokes gained, which is actually top 20 in the field. So I think he sees us the weekend. I think he gets us some points there. I'm also going to go back to Sam Ryder, 7,100. He's been a fantastic DraftKings darling this season. He's made the cut in every tournament. That's 7 out of 7 tournaments, and he's finished 33rd and 19th here the last 2 years, 20th in this field in total strokes gained. I just think this is a fantastic price. This is exactly what we're looking for in a DraftKings darling, a 7 out of 7 for cuts made. That's all we need. We just need you to make the weekend. Sam Ryder's been doing that. And my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this, Nick, but I'm going back to Matt Kuchar. It has been a long time since I have done anything with Matt Kuchar. Yeah, but he's 7,100. He's made the cut in all 4 tournaments this season. You have to go back before 2013 to see when he last missed the cut here. This is a kind of a Matt Kuchar course where it's not about power. It's about not making the big mistakes, like hitting your fairways, hitting your greens, walk away with pars, grab a birdie here or there. It screams Matt Kuchar for where he's at in his career. So I'll take a sprinkle on him. It's not a great field, so I think making the cut is going to be doable for him on a course he just knows inside and out. So Joel Damon, Sam Ryder, Matt Kuchar are the DraftKings darlings. And as always, free digital download is up at my profile page that has the full DraftKings lineup that I'll be playing this week. So just go to wt.buzz/AL. Same place you can go get that golf special or the 7 days all sports special. That's where you can get the free golf article with all the write-ups in there. All right, Nick, let's take a look at a long shot. Got to be honest, I had to look this guy up. You dug deep. Let's talk this one out.
So I struggled here because I kept going. I'm like, I was just trying to fall down into the range of getting at least a 50-1 on the long shot to get, qualify as a long shot. And then when I got in that range, I just couldn't really find anybody that was like, this is somebody I want to bet this week. So I went a little further down, and I saw somebody that made a splash a couple weeks ago on his PGA Tour debut. He's got a ton of hype around him and a lot of potential. He's kind of like a quiet European. Well, Ludwig Aubert is European, but he went to Texas Tech, so he's played college golf in America. But he's kind of like on that scale over there, where if you're not paying attention to anything in Europe, you probably wouldn't recognize him. And Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson, 100-1 to win. And I'm just going to give this kind of little credentials of what he's been doing over the last year. Okay, of course, it wasn't against PGA Tour competition, but he had 3 wins in 2024 on the Challenge Tour. And unless you're Andy or I, you might not know what the hell the Challenge Tour is. That's the 2nd-tier tour in Europe. So it's like the Korn Ferry Tour equivalent here in the States. Still, 3 wins to me is evidence of a very high ceiling. And, you can only beat who you're going against. So he wasn't too long ago, 4 years ago, he was in college. Then he graduated to the Challenge Tour. Now he's a full-time member on the DP World Tour, and he got that debut on the PGA Tour 2 weeks ago. It was the alternate field event while the guys were at Bay Hill. This was in Puerto Rico. He finished runner-up. He had a chance to win that thing in his PGA Tour debut. And it's just, again, what is his ceiling? What is his potential? And I think this guy has it. You go back to the now that he's graduated to the DP World Tour. So that happened in September. He's finished in the top 20 in 7 of 12 starts, including 4 top 10. So right there, alone that he can play. And this kind of field is similar, usually strength, to what you're going to see in the European or the DP World Tour. So it's not too much different. Maybe a few stars at the very top are the only difference. But that result at Puerto Rico earned him this start this week, and it's a great opportunity to buy into him. Will he win? No, probably not. But will he be able to top 10 or top 20 plus 750 or plus 330 accordingly? I think it's a very good chance he could make a splash again this week. He's got confidence. He's rolling in. And again, if he has one more week decent like this, we're probably not going to see odds for this guy like we are right now for a long, long time. So, no, he's not Ludwig Aubert, but I think he's kind of in that category of, man, he just came from right out of college to boom, he's making noise right away. And I think he's got the potential to start doing that. So Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Andy, that's a mouthful. Say it 10 times fast, peanut butter in your mouth, see what happens.
What great value. Yeah, that plus 330 on top 20. Boy, that's a really, 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 really nice number. He does seem to be all or nothing. I see second, 10th, and missed cut. So you can
don't worry about that.
Don't worry about the on the runners up. So, all right, great stuff. Thanks everyone for watching. Again, hit the like button, leave us a comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified whenever all these videos come out. Make sure you join myself and Nick next week and take advantage of those specials on our page, wt.buzz/NB for all of Nick's plays, wt.buzz/AL for all of my plays. Good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone next week.